The name of the movie is called Belle.
Now, what's the big idea?
In this presentation, we are connecting identity development and ethnic identity formation to this movie. Using Atkinson, Morton, and Sue's identity development model, we can connect the main character, Belle's, confusion about her life and her heritage. We'll also be observing Cooley's theory of the looking glass self, stating we see ourselves the way others see us. We're a reflection of the thoughts of others. We'll also be talking briefly about Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development through resolval of different conflicts. So here's a little background information about the movie. This is the true story of Dido Elizabeth Belle, the illegitimate daughter of Admiral Sir John Lindsay. After the death of Belle's mother, she was taken in by her father and entrusted into the hands of Lord and Lady Mansfield in hopes that she would be raised alongside her cousin Elizabeth as an equal. Time goes by and both girls have grown into beautiful women. Not long after,
Belle's father passes away, leaving her with a huge sum of money, making her an heiress.
Now as the girls are old enough, it's time for them to come out to society, like dating and ballroom dancing. But her great-uncle believes that no one would want to marry her due to her being mixed race, regardless of the fact that she's an heiress. So while Elizabeth is out enjoying and meeting guys and dating, Belle is stuck in her tower like Rapunzel. Because of the isolation Belle felt for being mixed race, she hated her skin. But later in the movie comes to terms with her beauty in being a woman of mixed race and an equal to all men. Now, the connection to the course. There are 5 steps in this model, but Belle only exhibits a few. Belle exhibited conformity as she was raised by her great-uncle. She was more comfortable with the dominant culture. She hated the African side of her because when she went out with her cousin, she was outcasted because of the fact that she was mixed race. She hated her physical appearance, as people didn't see her as anything other than mixed race and didn't appreciate her for her skill. Dissonance is when a person begins to question and experience conflict on both sides. This is good because they are becoming more open to both sides. This is seen when Belle meets Mabel, an African servant who helped her appreciate her hair and think that being mixed race isn't all that bad. Next is synergistic articulation and awareness. This incorporates cultural values of the dominant group and the minority group. After helping a young trainee lawyer under Lord Mansfield to investigate the sinking of a ship carrying slaves, Belle gains perspective on her heritage and learns to appreciate her mother's side and her father's side as well. This connects deeply to Cooley's theory of the looking glass self, which states that you are a reflection of how people see you. This is seen throughout Belle's life, as she was seen as lesser than Elizabeth because of her skin. Sure, she was raised with much love, but she was isolated, and because of that she was always embarrassed of herself. She was often mistaken for a servant as well. Then she met John, whose thoughts reflected only love, respect, and care. Then she started carrying herself with more dignity and self-respect, reflecting the thoughts of John about her. If you remember in the course, we briefly talked about how we develop a sense of ethnicity, and one of the points were, we assume that ethnic identity develops as people resolve conflicts at different stages of their lives. Through this point, we can observe the Erik Erikson theory of psychosocial development. Stage 1. Trust versus mistrust. Suffering a traumatic childhood, such as losing her mother, Belle didn't resolve some crisis, and that later reflected itself in her life. Due to being born in a harsh environment, she lacks trust for others, as she's very skeptical and almost cynical, as opposed to Elizabeth, who is easily trusting.
Stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. Here, Belle fails to learn her roles and keeps thinking, who am I? Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. In the movie, Belle struggled with intimacy with John, but overcame it. The end. Thanks for watching.